Quickly. Tom, how are you? And here's our first guest on the Cutting Edge Benefits podcast. Who is our guest?
Kevin. Kevin Horgan is with us. Kevin was our fearless leader in high school as our class president, and Kevin was fortunate to take over the oil business his dad started, and he grew it quite well. And we'll let Kevin explain that. So, with that said, Kevin, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Neil, for having us on. I appreciate it. Yeah, Tom and I go way back, class of 1986, Air High School. Um, I went on to college, began after college. Actually, I was in the accounting field. I was helping my father uh, put a package together to sell his heating oil delivery company. And I'm going through it. I said, "Geez, Dad, what if I buy this from you?" Which I did. Long story short, and you know, 25, 30 plus years, I acquired a few companies along the way, grew the business, um, and basically packaged it and I sold it myself about 6 years ago. And Tom and I kind of reconnected, and I kind of wish he intervened with me when I was an employer with 26 employees and the premiums I was paying at the time for my healthcare benefit program for my employees. It was one of the most, you know, I always called it one of the most expensive and one of the most underappreciated benefits that you offer your employees.
So tell us the pain you dealt with as a business owner.
Well, you're just at the mercy of the insurance companies. You're begging every year for something under a 10% increase. And if your broker came through with that, they were a hero. And as an employer, I didn't know anything about health insurance. I sold heating oil. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. So I've got to decide, do I pass some more of the premium on to my employer? I mean, to my employees? Do I increase the deductibles? Do I, try to finagle how to absorb this cost and just kind of take it on the chin? Um, those are the things you have to deal with and contemplate every year that you renew. And you just had zero control as an employer. It's just, here it is. This is what you're going to pay for the next 12 months, and you're not going to do any better.
Hmm.
At least that's what I understood at the time. Put it that way.
So Tom, when you introduced him to this idea, what was his thoughts?
He got his wife involved uh,
She's way smarter
to
than me,
do
by
the
the way.
research, and he says, "If you can get by my wife, you can get by anybody." I think was his words, something along those lines. Similar to what I tell people about my wife. Um, so she she's very she got the health insurance. I just showed her the math, and I used the individual health insurance marketplace to show her, the difference, how the insurance companies were overcharging the risk. And Kevin uh, and her, the light bulbs went on. Like, why isn't everyone taking advantage of tax laws that allow you to control your health costs?
It,
Uh,
it's it's almost it's so simple that it is from the viewpoint of an employer. It's so simple. You feel stupid, and that is kind of too good to be true. Like, what's the catch? There's got to be something that's gonna, hit me from behind, a couple months down the road. And unfortunately, I think that's what we're programmed as business owners, that there's something coming. And it's just amazing how simple of an approach it is, and the savings are just astronomical.
and yeah, Kevin's introduced us to several companies that have listened to us, and what are they? They're all price saving, what, 50, 60%
Yeah.
at least?
Yes. I mean, small employers, I think, One of my clients, I think, is 18 with 18 employees, and I think they're probably going to save over $80,000 a year.
A
It's a
month.
a year, 80,000.
Oh, 80,000. Got it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean that's huge for a business that's for that size.
Yeah,
And
it's
the more you get to know this, Kevin, you're blown away, right? I am, everyone I talk about Claim Links since I started producing their podcast, I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm firsthand. He got me healthcare benefits, and I thought I'm uninsurable unless I pay too much. He set up a deal, and I'm set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't I know about this before? Why didn't I know Tom before?
Well, I've known Tom since, 1982, and I kind
yeah.
of blame him. I actually think he owes me some money because he didn't come after me earlier. But no, I think in today's environment, we all know how difficult it is to attract and retain good employees. And, you know, back in the day, one of the health insurance was what you used as glue. But that was almost back when it was more affordable. You could pay 100% of the premium or 90% of the premium. And over the last 20 years, it has just crept up and up. And now the employees' portion has grown and grown and grown. Now you've got a guy that's making $25 an hour who's got to pay his portion of the premium, $250 a week for a family plan. That's crippling. So I think that applying the claim links solution, you're creating the glue all over again. You're giving your employees a raise without increasing their salaries.
Okay. That's
And there's a learning aspect to it, but most employees just look at their paycheck at the end of each week or each month, however they get it. And what's going in their bank account is king.
now, Tom, how would, and I'm going to ask Kevin, I have a bunch of different follow-ups, but when you hear this from firsthand from other people, it just blows you away, right? That what you're able to do. And why didn't anyone think about it but you, Tom, how to do this?
Like I mentioned yesterday, I did a LinkedIn Live, and I don't know if you did this in air, but in Shirley, Massachusetts, the teachers in third, fourth grade did this thing. They called it Batter Up. Two people would turn around and they would have a math flashcard. And I used to be able to go, 7 times 5, I'd go 35. Well, all these kids kept striking out and I won every time. So the teacher made a rule I had to count to 5 before I said the answer. So I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom. And it was just funny because but it's the same with the health insurance. It's like I just totally get the numbers like that. And where I think everyone thinks that it has to be complicated. But the sad part is the way they're buying it is complicated. No one understands it. And that's where you have a huge disconnect. So when I come in and I'm like I have a company right now, 285 people in Indiana. They're going to go from 4.66 million to 1.5 million and save 3.16 whatever. And they're just like, it can't be that easy. And it's like, it is that easy. The more it's just math.
Yeah. All right. So Kevin, because you know this well, working with Tom, kind of define what is done with claim links, because we've talked about it. Tom can break it down so easily and he makes it so simple, but it is that simple.
Well, it is that simple. What you're doing now is you're basically writing a check to your group health care plan, and they handle everything for you. And you don't see your broker again. He might take you golfing or to dinner, depending on how high your premiums are. You won't see him until next year at renewal when it goes up 10%. Right now, what you're going to do is you take control of it. You're going to insure your employees. You as the employer are going to self-insure your employees. Well, you obviously can't do that 100% because you can't take that risk. So you define your risk. You're gonna use the health plans, the Blue Crosses and the Harvard Pilgrims and Cignas and whomever. you're going to still use those same plans, but they're going to use them as more of a stop loss. So you're going to define the risk. And when you raise that deductible, that out-of-pocket expense to on each plan, on the Harvard Pilgrim or Blue Cross plan, whatever it is, you've defined your risk. And the amount of money that you save in the premium is greater than that risk. So that's your bank. If you tell your employee, now I'm going to give you a zero deductible plan with, with some copays, everything is defined. If your employee has a catastrophic year, you're still saving money because, yeah, you have to fork over that entire deductible because you told your employee it's zero deductible, but you're still saving money in that respect. But the majority of your employees are going to use half, less, or even zero amount of the deductible. That stays in your bank as an employer. And you can decide from year to year, do you want to improve benefits? Do you want to add ancillary, benefits with that bank of money? You now have full control over your health benefit expense, and you have happy employees because they're not forking over all of this premium money.
All right, so we're going to jump back to Tom to finish off. And Tom, this is what that's the big thing, is keeping your employees happy, then they're going to be healthy. So if they know that they're keeping more money, they're going to stay healthier. I wonder if you've seen that in a lot of ways.
Oh, they're definitely the trouble with a lot of these programs that are out there, the wellness and all this these programs that I think are great. They make a lot of sense, but people are using them thinking they're going to lower their health insurance costs. It's just not going to happen because the insurance companies are taking advantage of all the data. But our clients get the data, so they know how to design their medical plan to keep their employees healthier, encouraging them to do preventative wellness. You go in and have a physical. I go in, I have a concierge doctor in Cincinnati. It cost me like $100 and I get like all these tests that would never be covered by insurance done. And it's great. But the employers can do that now with some of these programs. But if they think that those tests are going to lower their health insurance costs, they're being taken advantage of, because it's not. Your rates on small group. Now on large group, I'm finding larger groups are getting more ripped off than smaller groups because they don't think they have any outlet. They're forced to buy this health insurance, where the small groups know that, hey, worst case, we just let them go get it on the marketplace. But they haven't figured out that you should be letting them do that. Why wouldn't you? The small groups, the large groups, it's like, do the math. You're buying it. They think they have to be self-funded, taking on all this risk. Yeah, you should be self-funded, but you should be taking on a little risk with all the items that you can do. But it's just a game.
All right, so the game is to go to claimlinks.com right now. And Kevin, anything else to add to why people should contact ClaimLinks, especially if they're a business?
Well, I think if you want an edge on your competition in this environment of trying to attract good employees and retain them, this is a way to do it. You have a leg up on any other employer that's just sticking to traditional group health. You're instantly starting out of the gates at $4 an hour higher.
All right. That was the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the